An issue of huge interest to socialists has always been nuclear disarmament. We're having a conference about it on the 9th of December. And Hannes Svoboda, the Vice President of the Socialist Party, is here with Jan Marina Sviesma, another Vice President, to tell us about it. Hannes, tell us about it.
Well, nuclear disarmament always has been an issue, but perhaps in the last years only very particular issues have been taken up, for example, the Iran issue. Now we want to broaden it and to say how can we really for the future guarantee a world without nuclear weapons. This was an issue which was also taken up by some prominent American former foreign ministers and senators. And now with Obama being president and having in his staff many people who are working on this issue, there is some hope that also this American president, the new president, will take up the issue and make perhaps some proposals. For some time already we work on it because we think only a multilateral, very strict framework for all the nuclear enrichment processes can help so that the nuclear material is not coming to individual countries who pledge they only do it for civil purposes, but secretly start to build nuclear weapons. That's a big issue, of course, with Iran, but we concentrate on Iran, but perhaps at the same time other countries do the same. And therefore there we want to have a clear message to the world leaders in Europe, in the United States, and to all the other countries. Please, we accept, of course, the civil, peaceful use of the nuclear materials, but don't do it for military purposes. If there is no clear, strict multilateral regulation, it will be done. And that is our message, and therefore together with the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, who proposed already some multilateral structures which could deal with that issue. We want to have that conference with many prominent speakers, but now I hand over to Jan Marinas.
To follow up on what Hannes said, we commissioned a study, especially on this issue of the multilateralization, as they call it, of the fuel cycle, because we see an expansion of nuclear energy, because some partly related to the climate change question, and we want to make sure that if new nuclear plants are being built, that nothing can happen wrongly to the nuclear fuel, either for making nuclear weapons or that it gets into the hands of terrorists. That's a very important point. Secondly, we are in a kind of situation where if we do nothing, the whole system might collapse. Because that countries following one another are going to develop nuclear weapons and break the principle that only certain countries are allowed to have nuclear weapons, on the basis of the promise that in the end they will cooperate with general nuclear disarmament. So if we do nothing, we can see the spread of a nuclear weapon states, and that might be the end of this non-proliferation regime. That's why we are pleased by those who now propose very radical initiatives. And that's why we also use the title, General Nuclear Disarmament. I think that is the way forward. It's the only way to convince states not to go into the direction of developing nuclear weapons themselves. And like Mr. Hannes Svoboda said, it's a very good moment to do this, because we noticed also that a lot of people are very interested in participating in this conference, because we will deal with a whole range of issues, not only this multilateralization of the fuel cycle, the nuclear fuel cycle. We will talk about the disarmament agenda, which steps can be taken, for example, a complete ban on testing, to clear Europe of all tactical nuclear weapons. And we will also discuss the future review conference of the non-proliferation treaty that will take place in 2010. And we of course also will discuss the role of the European Union. And we have a very interesting range of speakers, like Mr. Duarte, who is the General High Representative on Disarmament of the UN. We have the chairman of this NPT review conference. We have a video contact with Mr. El Baradei, the General Director of EIA, but also with Representative Alan Tauscher, who is chairing the Strategic Forces Subcommittee in the House of Representatives in Washington. We have a representative from the Russian government. We have someone representing the NATO. And of course the whole conference will be concluded by Mr. Javier Solana, the High Representative of the European Union. But before that also will have spoken, which is very special, Mr. Jalili, who is the chief negotiator on these issues of Iran.
That's a very important conference on nuclear disarmament on December the 9th.